What's good, racing world? This is Mr. Matt Racing. My name's Matt Dobbs, and this is a new edition of Time Trial Tuesday. This past weekend, NASCAR made its return to Chicagoland Speedway after being away from the facility for 7 years. And I gotta tell you, between the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the NASCAR Cup Series races, the racing there was fantastic and showed that they should have never gone away from that track in the first place. And plus, we might have a little rivalry on our hands. So let's just get right into it. Starting off, we have the Cup Series. Chase Briscoe broke through and got his first win of the season, joining teammates Ty Gibbs and Denny Hamlin in Joe Gibbs Racing as being drivers to secure a victory this season. He held off a charge from Christopher Bell at the end right there. But you know what? Does this mean that we're seeing deja vu from Chase Briscoe? What do I mean by that exactly? Well, at this point last year, Briscoe had a rough first half to the season in his first season with Joe Gibbs Racing. But once he got a summer victory, he became a perennial threat, if you want to call it that. A perennial threat for a championship run. And what are we getting right now? He had a rough first half to this season. And then around this part of the summer, broke through and got his first win of the season. So now will this lead to a potential run at a championship? He's had the speed to do it all year, just hadn't had the luck to do it until the last month and a half or so. He had chances to win races, but just fell short. This time around, they put a full race together over there in that 19 team, and it paid off for him. So we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the regular season pans out for Chase Briscoe and company, but I think he might have something to say about who contends for a championship this year if he keeps this run up. Just got to keep putting the races together. Now, early on in that race, Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Hill met once again. Van Gisbergen drove the car into turn 3 on the bottom, and I watched the onboards. Hill made a late cut in front of him to try to cover the position. Shane did not let up, and the 33 was sent spinning up the track, backing into the outside wall, ending his race. Needless to say, the radio conversation from Austin Hill's team suggests that it might have been a potential retaliation for San Diego. At least that's what Richard Childress thinks. But here's the real question. Will both drivers face any sort of discipline? We have seen kind of an on and off rivalry between Hill and Van Gisbergen that goes back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series a couple of years ago. But it's really started to take some spotlight here the last few weeks. There was an issue at Pocono between the two of them. Then you look at San Diego. Hill was the control car on that restart on lap 32. He missed the first corner, made a mistake, and it sets off a wreck that took out Van Gisbergen and a host of others. Shane was understandably upset about being wiped out of that race as he had a car that he felt was coming to him. Then you fast forward to this past weekend in Chicagoland, and we see the 33 being spun off the front end of the 97 early on in that race too. So in Hill's position, I understand feeling like I just got driven through. I just got wrecked. But there's a couple of things to that. First off, that was a late block attempt. And that was pretty hard racing for the position that they were racing for at that point in the race. So while there is no obligation for any driver to cut another driver a break, it is pretty early in the race to be blocking for a position that deep in the field. But I get it. I really do. But in another aspect, Hill, he might want to dish out some payback at some point, but Hill has been suspended recently for a retaliation attempt. You got to look back to Indianapolis a year ago in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He was immediately suspended for the next week after a right hook on Eric Almirola in that race. So while retaliation may be owed to Van Gisbergen from Hill, I don't know if he'll actually be able to do it without facing some sort of a repercussion for it. Now, as for Van Gisbergen, I don't know about getting into a scuffle with somebody who is not racing for points. Because Hill is not racing for points in the Cup Series. He's just there for the rest of the season because of extraordinary circumstance. Van Gisbergen, on the other hand, is sitting 30 points above the cut line, and he's trying to hold on to a chase spot without the aid of his bread and butter, the road courses. And now you're getting yourself into a position where if the 33 is going to want to dish out some payback, your season could be jeopardized. Not to mention if NASCAR decides that a penalty is in order for the way the wreck went down, you're going to get yourself set even further back without any sort of action taken from the 33 team. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for both Hill and Van Gisbergen moving forward for the rest of the season. We'll just have to see how that goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think about the Hill and Van Gisbergen controversy. Now, let's shift gears to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Great racing. Brandon Jones takes the lead from Chase Elliott on a green-white-checker restart and pulls away and steals the victory. But that was a kind of race where multiple drivers could have had a winning car, but ultimately it was Jones who put the full race together and got his first win of the season. What does it say about Brandon Jones for the rest of this season as far as the chase goes and the championship? Well, he's kind of like Chase Briscoe in a sense. That team has good cars. They just haven't always put a full race together. But when they do, they're hard to shake off. And we saw that this past Saturday night. Jones was just kind of lurking. He led for a little bit in the middle part of the race, but he just kept lurking even when he lost the track position. So if that 20 team can keep putting these full races together, along with bringing these fast cars that are finishing up front in these stages, that team may very well be some people's sleepers in regards to who's going to challenge for a championship. Overall, Chicagoland Speedway brought some great racing all weekend, hardly a dull moment, and it further proved why this track should not have been taken off the schedule in the first place. Hopefully this track comes back in some capacity every year moving forward. Now, what did you guys think about Chicagoland Speedway? Was the racing good to you? And who are you picking between Austin Hill and Shane Van Gisbergen? Let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like, share this video, subscribe for more content. It's totally free, greatly appreciated, totally helps me out. Don't forget to hit the little bell that notifies you when I upload. And then stay tuned for Fast Friday as we get ready to go restrictor plate racing once again from Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm not calling it Echo Park. And also, the Craftsman Truck Series returns to action at Lime Rock Park. And see this mic behind me? I got a series coming very soon. Stay tuned for details. And we're getting closer to 100 subscribers. I want to give some stuff away. So keep subscribing, stay tuned, and I'll see you on the road.